I am 2 weeks in my GLP-1 journey. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, I am Andy Neal. I am a fat person. I am taking GLP-1s and I've been on it for 2 weeks now. And there has definitely been some changes. There's definitely been some things I want to talk about. First of all, there's a raging river behind me. Let me show you. The reason I'm not filming against the river is because the sun is like right behind us here. And when I do that, you can see it kind of gets a little blown out and the picture doesn't look great. It still looks super picturesque. I mean, look at it, it's beautiful. I love it. This is one of my favorite spots to go to. It's absolutely gorgeous. But all the light behind me, and though there's no key light, only a backlight called the sun. So that's why I'm going to be talking mostly this way. But I also have this wonderful DJI Osmo Pocket, which follows me wherever I want to go. So if you've been watching my other videos, you know I'm on a GLP-1. You know I've lived a fat body my entire life. You know that I've been struggling with that. There's things I want to go do. I want to go hike through the slot canyons of Escalante. I want to raft down this river, kayak down this river in a one-person kayak, not a two-person fisherman kayak. And you ever try to find a life vest for someone my size? My goodness. Now I'm trying to be as open and honest as possible with my journey, with what I'm doing. So first of all, let's talk about the initial process. So like I said, I've been a big body my entire life. I've been fat my entire life. I mean, there are very few instances in my life where I don't remember being fat. They're all when I was a kid and they were during growth spurts. I'd be fat and chubby. I'd spurt up a little bit, I'd thin out, and then I'd widen out. And that's just the way it's been. I've also been living with eating disorder. As far as I can tell from therapy, I have probably had disordered eating, binge eating disorder since I was, I'm gonna say 13. And that was encouraged and prodded by trauma in my life and having a mother who also had toxic relationship with food and other substances as well that modeled horrible things for me and modeled hopefully terrible coping mechanisms for me. I'm not using that as an excuse. I have to be responsible for my own behavior, but at the same time, when you're that young and that impressionable and you have that influence, it's hard to break those old habits. And there's just the genetics. My mother is bigger. My father is bigger. Their parents were bigger. Their brothers and sisters are bigger. That's just how my family is. We're what they call hardy stock. We just are. And that's fine. Being in a bigger body, nothing wrong with that. But when you're trying to, fight a binge eating disorder, genetics, predisposition, trauma, that's just a lot of factors. When you want to go do stuff like raft down this beautiful river in essentially, or not raft, but kayak down this river in not a kayak that is rated for 500 pounds. So one thing that really kind of spurred me on to do this is I was in this very spot here. I did a 1.5 mile run. I filmed it, and you're like, how'd you film it without stopping? What I would do is I'd set up my camera, I keep running in place. I had it all set, ready to go, where I ran a 1.5 miles. I felt good after the run. And being in a bigger body, I'm extremely active for someone my size. At that point, I was about 350, very active, always hiking, in the gym really consistently. But after the run, my knees hurt so incredibly bad. I couldn't do anything for a week. No hiking, no gym, nothing. My knees are swollen and sore. Now it's because I have inflammation in my knees and I'm in a bigger body. And yes, I've hiked up to 17 miles in one day. But that run really kind of woke me up and was like, I think it's probably best to, reevaluate what my body's doing right now. Now, I'm not saying people who are 350 pounds can't run. For my body, it was not conducive to that kind of thing. And I had other big things coming up physically, hikes and other things that I was considering. I'm like, oh my gosh. And plus for so long, there were hikes and things I wanted to do, but my body has kept me from doing. I've talked about hiking through slot canyons. I can't do that. I can't fit through a slot canyon. I've talked about kayaking down this very river. It's hard to do in a bigger kayak that's made for fishermen, that's made for 2 people. And there's just a simple everyday things like fitting into a booth at a restaurant. There is getting on an airplane and making sure you fit in the seat. There is getting on an amusement park ride with my daughter and thing not clicking properly and I'm not able to go on it because you don't fit. And I just didn't want to do that anymore. I'm considered by so many to be a fat advocate, a body positivity advocate, and I am. I've spoken at conferences about this, and I do believe every body is beautiful, and the outdoors and fitness spaces are for everybody, and there should be clothes that fit everybody, and they should be available and accessible at a reasonable price for everybody. But I also believe in bodily autonomy. I also believe in what works for me may not work for you, what works for you may not work for me, and your body and my body, so on and so forth. So I began looking at GLP-1s for a while. There's a lot of controversy around it. There's a lot of things in the fat and plus size and body positivity community that there's a lot of people who are very much against it. And there's a lot of people who swear by it. And I knew that if this was something I was gonna do, a lot of people in that community would see it as a betrayal. My opinions on body positivity have not changed. I just really had to evaluate what I wanted for me and my body. Now, being a fat influencer, being a plus size influencer, I get very unique requests from companies all the time. And I've been getting, for the last 3 years, requests from different companies. Hey, would you like to try GLP-1s? Would you like to try Ozempic? Would you like to try whatever, Wegovy? And we have this program and you blah, 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 blah. And I would always turn them down. And the motivation for me turning them down wasn't because I didn't want to do it or because I thought they were necessarily wrong, because I don't. Because when I hear people speak about, oh, these GLP-1s, this Wegovy, this Ozempic, it's wrong, it shouldn't be there. I hear other body positivity advocates talk about that. I always cringe a little bit. I'm like, we have got to give people bodily autonomy. If that's what's going to work for them, and that's a conversation they've had with their doctor and their family, whatnot, whoever they need to talk to about it, whatever that process looks like, that's fine for them. We need to not belittle them for that. My main reason for not getting on it was I was afraid of the backlash. I was afraid of, if I do this, I might lose my platform. If I do this, people might say horrible, terrible things about me, which is really unfortunate because for so long, there's these things I wanted to go do, these places I wanted to go, and I didn't because I was afraid of what people would think. So instead of even considering what would be best for me, my consideration was, what are other people gonna think? Which is a consideration you do have to have when you're a public figure, because this is how I make my income. This is how I build my livelihood. And any influencer or celebrity or person in the public eye who says they don't take that into consideration, even a little bit, is lying to you. Because you have to take that into consideration. So it was Mother's Day this year. I was sitting in my in-laws' house. I was watching TV. Mother's Day is not a great day for me. I'm not a huge fan of it because of the past trauma I've talked about. At this point, I've been thinking about GLP-1s for a long time. I've been doing research about the efficacy, how they work, why they work. I've had a few conversations with therapists and doctor about it. And this commercial came on with Charles Barkley. Now, I was growing up a huge Charles Barkley fan. I was a Phoenix Suns fan. I was born in Phoenix, Arizona, actually, if you don't know. And on this commercial, he's promoting a certain company, not a company I'm working with, that he's beginning GLP-1s. Now, I met Charles Barkley as a child in Phoenix. It was in downtown Phoenix. I was visiting my grandma in Phoenix. We were at a restaurant called Marley's. It was owned by Dan Marley. He was an all-star, actually gold medal winner with the Phoenix Suns and three-point shooter. Great guy. He owned this restaurant in downtown Phoenix at the time it was the America West Arena, called Marley's. And I was there with my grandma. I was happy to be there because I was a huge Phoenix Suns fan. And the waitress comes over to us and she was like, hey, I'm not supposed to tell anybody, but Charles Barkley's over there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, you want me to get his autograph for you? And I'm like, yes. And I think I was 11 or 12. I think I was 12. And she goes and she gets it for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So what I do is I'm like, you know what? I want to tell him thank you. My grandma was like, yeah, you should go over and tell him thank you. So I sheepishly walk over. He's on the other side of the restaurant, but I have a clear line of sight of him. I walk over to him and I tap him, go behind him, I tap him, I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Barkley? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I just wanted to thank you for the autograph. I put my hand out to shake it. He's like, no problem, big guy. Shakes my hand. I had a Charles Barkley shirt on, a Phoenix Suns hat, and the Phoenix Suns hat had a pin on it that said, Charles Barkley, 1993, most valuable player. And he goes up, taps on my head, he's like, that's a nice pin. I'm like, thank you. And so I've always been a fan of Charles Barkley, and here's Charles Barkley. I'm 43 years old now. I was 12 then, and he's sitting there, doing it. Just something clicked in my mind. I'm like, and think what you want about Charles Barkley. Yes, the man has had that's another subject I'm not going to talk about. And that was just like, for me, like, oh wow, I can do this. I should do this. So that Mother's Day, I immediately texted my manager and was like, hey, any of those offers for GLP-1s, can we explore that a little bit? I think I'm really considering it. I think I'm gonna move forward with this. We've been getting offers for years on this. Let's go ahead and see what's out there. And my manager was like, sure, let's get on it. This is Mother's Day. And the next week or so, I was spending time talking to my wife about it, talking more with my therapist about it, and talking to my manager about it, what it looked like. And we found a company I was really happy with that wanted to work with me. A company that had never sent an offer that I'm aware of before. They may have sent an offer before, and my manager may have turned it down because at the time I was very clear, no GLP-1s, no weight loss drugs. So that's a complete and utter possibility. The company was called Mochi. Not only do they provide the compounding drugs for the GLP-1s, but they have dietitian, physician, all through telehealth, ways to track. A really great program. I've enjoyed it. If you want to know more about Mochi, it links below. It's kind of an affiliate thing. It does help me out. I don't get like direct anything. It helps me out with the service. It's really good. Use what works for you, but I've had a great experience with Mochi. And we started this process, and I got on board and signed up, and I still have to pay for the service. I still have to pay for the drugs. Mochi, with the compounding and generic stuff, it's a lot cheaper than like the name brand Wegovy or Ozempic or Mounjaro. And I'm on a trizepatide. I never know if I'm saying that right. Trizepatide. Let me look. 1 second. It's tirzepatide. Tirzepatide. I can't pronounce that. Tirzepatide. Met with my own PCP, met with the doctor there at Mochi, met with the dietitian at Mochi. They did the prescription, got the dosage right. We talked about all the different things that I need to worry about. Worry is the wrong word. I need to consider. That's a better word. And the process was really great. I felt seen, I felt heard. It was really amazing. Service with them, I meet with their doctor who prescribes the medication anytime between every 3 to 6 months. I have my own PCP I meet with. And then I have their dietitian, which I have unlimited visits with their dietitian. This is not an advertisement for Mochi. I'm just letting you know the process and what's happening for me. So now let's get to it. I'm on it. I'm meeting with the dietitian. What's it like being on a GLP-1? So I get the shot. I'm not going to show you any footage of me taking the shot because it's embarrassing. I don't want to show my tummy for all the internet to see. It's just, that's my thing. I will eventually, probably, but not right now. So the shot comes, the prescription comes in a freezer bag. It's a vial, and then it has the syringes. I take the dosage out, put it in, and I take the shot directly in my stomach. I take a little pinch of fat, put it in there. You can put it in your stomach, legs, or arms. They say stomach's best. That's the most effective place to do it. So that's where I do it. I take the shot once a week, and I'm in week 2 now. And here is how I'm feeling. First of all, negative side effects. All these side effects are things that they said could and are very common, could happen. Everybody is different, and there are people who have much more impactful side effects. And so you need to be talking with your doctor, your PCP, if you ever consider taking these, making sure you understand the side effects, they understand your history, your family history, your medical history when doing that. And remember, I am not a doctor. Talk to yours. So we're talking about the negative or not so happy things. Immediately, I noticed had acid reflux. I haven't been dealing with acid reflux since I got diagnosed with celiac disease and I cut out gluten from my diet. And like, oh, I know what that is. That's acid reflux, which is something they said could be an issue. Another thing I dealt with is definitely some nausea. The night before, or right before I took the shot, I had a pretty greasy meal, and I was feeling that. I was like, oh, goodness gracious, that is, whoo, definitely noticed that one. Those have really been the only negative side effects I have. The acid reflux is going away as I'm being more careful with what I eat. The nausea is less than it was, and none of these things for me are not manageable. None of these things keep me from doing everyday things or doing things I want to do. They're just there, and I'm like, oh goodness, my stomach. Oh goodness, a little bit of acid reflux. Acid reflux pretty much been gone except for times where I decide to eat things that are a little too greasy, and that's not good. Now, positive things I've noticed since being on the GLP-1. First, food noise is gone. That feeling that I always need to eat, that went away pretty immediately. Second of all, feeling full. Actually, when I eat, I never felt full. I always felt hungry. I always ate until I wouldn't even call it full. I just couldn't stuff any more in. Also, I immediately noticed this the first morning after I took the shot. I've always had inflammation in my joints, I've always had pain just from moving around. Always in pain, always moving. That pain just from moving around, from going upstairs, from hiking down a trail, things I just learned to live with. Like I just have pain all the time. It's gone, like gone. Like within hours, you know, took the shot, up a few more hours, went to bed, woke up, like my elbows don't hurt. My knees don't hurt. My neck doesn't hurt. I don't hurt. Brain fog. I'm very easily deal with brain fog. I've always had brain fog and kind of issues of kind of zoning out. That's also gone. Much easier time exercising. So go to the gym, go on the trail. At the gym, I can only exercise on the elliptical or any kind of cardio for 30 minutes max. I've got an hour and 20 minutes and I'm like, I keep going, except I gotta do my weight training. I don't have time. Like it's the weirdest feeling like I could just do this forever, which was never a thing for me in the past. And obviously there is the feeling that, you know, I'm not always needing to find my next meal. I always had so much anxiety around food and never felt like I couldn't be eating. I was always thinking about food. That's more to do with the food noise, but that's just gone away. And of course, there's been the weight loss. Like since taking the drug, I'm down 12 pounds. And I'm not tracking calories. I'm being careful about what I eat. I am tracking the amount of protein I'm having every day because eating the protein helps you feel more full. Obviously, that's something we've known for a while. But also because I am losing weight, they're really worried about there being muscle loss. And I want to make sure that I keep as much muscle as possible, stay as strong as possible. So I'm eating between 100 and 130 grams of protein a day, which is a lot and it's hard. And I've been doing that instead of tracking calories. But honestly, if I was tracking calories, it'd be hard to do because I probably would be under what I should be at because I have a hard time eating. Not in a bad way, like I can't eat anything, but it's like from what I'm used to eating, I just don't eat that anymore. I went to have pizza last night and I ate, I always have to get my own personal gluten-free pizza when I go to a place because I have celiac disease. My family gets regular pizza. And usually, we're at a restaurant last night called Kaleidoscope Pizza. I get this pizza, it's about this big, gluten-free, and I'd eat the whole thing and some gluten-free breadsticks. Last night, I had one slice of the pizza and about 3 of the breadsticks, and I was done. And I'm feeling it this morning because it was greasy and it was good. Not like drippy grease, but you know, it's pizza. It's got a little bit of grease. And I'm like, oh, this morning I had pizza last night. My stomach's not happy. It was good pizza though. Hashtag worth it. So those are what I'm feeling right now. I'm gonna continue doing this. As far as how it works, how expensive, I understand these drugs and these medications are expensive. I understand that that keeps a lot of people from it. Mochi was one of the most affordable options for me. Go to the link below, you can find out. It's gonna ask you if you're even eligible. You put your email in, you can find out what the costs are. There's different plans. You join the program, which there's a monthly cost. You can pay for it by the month, you know, every other month, 3 months, for a year. You can do that. It's cheaper the higher you go up, obviously. For my tirzepatide, I take, it's $199 a month. There's other options as far as which drugs, and that's the most expensive of them. And for me, right now, that's worth it. So let me know what questions you have about GLP-1s, services I'm using, Mochi, my process. I'm gonna continue just updating you. This is a very long vlog and I am sorry. I'm at 25 minutes here on this counter. Obviously I'm gonna edit this way the heck down, but that's where I'm at. Thank you all for watching. It is a gorgeous day. Make sure you follow me on all the various social media networks at Andy Films and Hikes, TikTok, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Also, YouTube thinks you're gonna like these videos. You can subscribe down here. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what questions you have below. With that, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.